It was supposed to be a simple interview. A chance for the public to get to know the new CEO of BIOTECH, the company that claimed to have found the cure for cancer. But things took a dark turn when the interviewer asked a question that no one expected. "So, Mr. Jones, how do you explain the allegations that your company has been conducting illegal and unethical experiments on human subjects?" the interviewer asked, looking at the camera with a smug smile. Mr. Jones blinked, his face turning pale. He had hoped that this topic would not come up, but he had prepared an answer just in case. "Those allegations are completely false and baseless," he said, trying to sound confident. BIOTECH is a reputable and responsible company that follows all the laws and regulations regarding human research. We have nothing to hide and we are proud of our achievements. The interviewer nodded, but did not look convinced. He pressed on. "Then how do you explain the leaked documents that show that your company has been secretly collaborating with a rogue military faction in Africa, providing them with experimental drugs and weapons in exchange for human test subjects? How do you explain the photos and videos that show the horrific effects of your products on innocent people?" Mr. Jones felt a surge of panic. He had no idea how those documents and media had been leaked, but he knew they were real. He had been part of the deal, along with his predecessor, who had died in a mysterious accident a few months ago. He tried to deny the accusations, but his voice was shaky and his eyes were darting around nervously. He knew he was losing credibility and trust with every word he uttered. The interviewer sensed his weakness and went for the kill. "Mr. Jones, are you aware that we have a special guest in our studio today? Someone who has a personal connection to your company and your experiments?" Mr. Jones felt a cold sweat on his forehead. He had a bad feeling about this. "Who is it?" he asked, fearing the worst. The interviewer smiled wickedly and turned to the side. "Please welcome Ms. Smith, the widow of one of your former employees, who died after being exposed to one of your drugs." The camera panned to reveal a woman sitting on a couch, holding a photo of a man in her hands. She looked angry and sad at the same time. Mr. Jones recognized her immediately. She was the wife of his former colleague, who had been working on a new drug that was supposed to enhance human abilities. He had been testing it on himself, without telling anyone, until he suffered a fatal heart attack. Mr. Jones felt a wave of guilt and fear wash over him. He knew what was coming next. "Ms. Smith, thank you for being here today," the interviewer said, turning to her. "Can you tell us what happened to your husband?" Ms. Smith looked at Mr. Jones with hatred in her eyes. "He was murdered by this man and his company," she said, pointing at him. "They used him as a guinea pig for their dangerous experiments. They gave him a drug that made him stronger, faster, smarter, but also more aggressive, paranoid, and unstable. He became addicted to it and couldn't stop taking it. He started having violent outbursts and hallucinations. He became a threat to himself and others." She paused, tears rolling down her cheeks. "One night, he came home and attacked me and our children. He said we were enemies and he had to kill us. I managed to escape with our daughter, but our son was not so lucky. He killed him with his bare hands." She sobbed uncontrollably, clutching the photo of her son. "He was only 7 years old," she said, looking at the camera with a broken expression. "He was innocent and he loved his father. And he died because of this monster." She threw the photo at Mr. Jones, who flinched as it hit his chest. The interviewer looked at Mr. Jones with disgust and contempt. "Mr. Jones, do you have anything to say for yourself?" he asked. Mr. Jones felt trapped and hopeless. He knew he had no way out of this situation. He knew he was doomed. He looked at Ms. Smith with remorse and regret. "I'm sorry," he said softly. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small device. He pressed a button. A loud explosion rocked the studio. The screen went black.